everyone. This is Alice. Today you're not going to see me in motion. Today on Conscious Living Newsletter, I want to talk about nature, and I want to talk about my new podcast and what nature has to do with grief. In my work, half of it has to do with bringing loved ones through from the other side. The other half is addressing grief. I wrote a book, The Manner of Hope, and it's about my experience and what I went through to come back to finding hope after losing my daughter of the same name. And I wanted to share those experiences and actually do them in the book, have you do some of the things that I had done to come out of my grief. So I am going to read the very last chapter of my book, and it is about nature. Our physical world as matter, nature. I start with a quote from Philip Sutton Chard. We have emotions because nature itself is emotional, and because we are inside of nature, not outside of it, we have a spiritual life because the earth is a numinous entity of manifestation in the material realm of spiritual energy. A fact recently rediscovered by quantum physics, but long ago understood by native people throughout the globe. Last but not least, nature instructs us about hope. Whenever you walk outside your door, there it is. There is opportunity to find instant hope. The air we breathe, the sunshine, the stars, the moon in the night, and creeks and oceans and mountains, rocks, trees, birds, animals, bees, all living proof that life is a miracle, that we are a part of something greater. Religion, traditional therapy, traditional medicine, and almost all aspects of our lives since Industrial Revolution began has ignored that we are nature and a part of it. Henry David Thoreau and a group of women and men at the turn of the century tried to warn us. I count myself very fortunate and am proud to tell you that I grew up on a farm in the Midwest. Because my brother and sister were much older than I was alone while they were at school, and my dad was in the field and my mother in the house. I would spend hours upon hours in nature. In the summer, I was barefoot all summer long. I have vivid memories of spending time sprawled out over the ground on my belly watching the ants. I remember sitting under the lilacs observing spiders spinning their webs and picking berries and climbing trees. There was no sense of time, no worries. The earth told me what to do if I listened and watched. In the past few years, I told my mother now how much I learned from her about nature, and her reply was, "That wasn't me. You spent time outside. You learned it on your own with nature. Being a mother myself, I understood that she held the time and the space while working in her kitchen or in the house, watching over me. I explored in the safety of our little farm. This is the knowledge I hold to this day. This knowledge is something that can only be learned by being in nature. We can use the largest organ of our body, the skin, to soak up the information that is everywhere in the air, the sun, the moon, the water, the wind, the sounds that I call true music, birds, wind in the trees, and the grasses and the water sweeping over the rocks on a journey to a place unknown, and insects busy at keeping the balance of it all. This is the knowledge that there is a part of my body and yours waiting to be awakened. Modern man's difficulties, dangerous beliefs and feelings of loneliness, spiritual emptiness, and personal weakness are caused by his illusion about and separation from the natural world. Benjamin Hope. I would say that this knowledge, more than anything that I have written about prior to this, is the best motivator in finding hope. There is no arguing with nature. It is alive and tells us we are a part of it. We receive direct information with no question. We have a very difficult time controlling it, although we try to. It is here that we learn acceptance. Nature speaks directly to our DNA. It is a part of the Creator, as are we. It has been written into this same information, but in a different language. As with music, nature stands in its strength, beauty, and wonder, and if we listen, we can hear the voice. Natalie Goldberg says, stress is basically a disconnection from the earth, a forgetting to breathe. Stress is an ignorant state. It believes that everything is an emergency. Nothing is that important. Go lie down. Nature will not let us stay in any place too long. She will let us just be there long enough to gather the experience necessary for the unfoldment and advancement of the soul. This is a wise provision, and should we stay there too long, we would become too set, too rigid, too inflexible. Nature demands the change in order that we can advance. When the change comes, we should welcome it with a smile on our lips and a song in our heart. Dr. Ernest Holmer. When I walk outside, two of the greatest spiritual concepts leap out at me: gratitude and humility. How can one not feel the power and beauty of nature and not want to fall to your knees in awe? The power of the wind and the water, the sun shining on the mountains, stirs life in me. All of this humbles me to give thanks for this earth and all it has for us to behold. If we can find gratitude, hope comes naturally. Henry David Thoreau says, on top of mountains, as everywhere to a hopeful soul, it is always morning. Many go fishing all their lives without knowing that it is not fish they are after. And finally, Joseph Campbell says, the goal of life is to make your heartbeat match the beat of the universe, to match your nature with nature. After 15 years, I have finally finished my In Pursuit of Hope, which is a meditative journey, 7-day journey into nature. It was actually a part of my own healing. I went out into nature, and then I came back and I would write. As a result, I have created this for others, and now I have created a podcast, and it directs you to go out one day at a time and listen to each day as I direct you through meditation and guide. You can find it on Spotify, on iTunes. I have it hosted on buzzspouts.com. You can find it on there as well. It's called In Pursuit of Hope, and I will post where you can find it below. But in any place that hosts podcasts, many of the places you can find it, even on Google. I hope you will check it out. I hold hope in my heart for all of you, and I hope you get outside this month as much as possible. It's a beautiful time of year now. I'll see you next month. Bye now.